Hello everyone, it's the 50-year-old 420 gamer and you're listening to HKMusicExperience Deep in the Groove. Thank you, subscribers. I'm on my way to 1,000. Those of you who are new, please hit that subscribe button, tap the notifications, leave a comment, and hit that like button and pass it on to a friend. Today's video is my endurance at Plankerton full clear using what I call Defender outposts or Defender stations. Junior and I did the minimalist build we could to accommodate the, how shall we say, the spawn, but we left the objectives completely vulnerable so that we could build Defender outposts, as I like to refer to them. So we're going to run through the Plankerton build here, and I'm going to show you guys our Defender outposts. Now, do take into consideration, as the endurance progressed, we did build a bit, but that was the main goal, to start off as small as possible and increase along the way and keep the build as minimal as possible, and use the new meta with the new weapons to do basically stall or slow them down, but also do damage at the same time. So as you can see in here, we've had outposts, but that gets built up bigger during the endurance. So does this one, but this one worked quite well. So I was amazed at the way the defenders actually work now. You have to keep them safe. You have to keep them corralled. You have to make sure that they stay in their little square cubed area. Otherwise, they will go out into the spawn. And then, of course, you guys know, oh, I'm down. This is bad. No one wants to listen to that through the entire mission. So just keep them corralled and they will work to your advantage. Make sure you keep them out of the way so they don't blow up propanes and all, as well as any, you're going to have problems with the, as I like to call them, the mouth breathers that shoot the laser beam out of their mouth. So just keep them corralled so they can't go out into the spawns. And then put defender posts around the objective, but I never needed them. As you can see on these builds, everything is focused on the actual defender outpost. So when they come in, I have every weapon and trap that is needed to actually stall them and keep them contained and under control. And as I stated, as the endurance increases, so does the building process, because you'll see on wave 30, Junior and I build a whole bunch of stuff to keep it under control, in lieu of the fact that it's the last 3 minutes of the game and you don't want to lose. So these are the builds for this amplifier, and again, take into consideration, as the mission increases, so does the build. But we always tried to keep the build as minimal as possible so that we could contain it with the least amount of traps as possible. And don't forget, you have to do your block offs. You have to make sure you have to funnel them the direction you want them to go, because if you leave openings like back there, they'll go up that walkway and come around, and so you just have to make sure you do all your block offs. And then, as you can see, they spawn from up at that amplifier behind me, so they dump down in this way. This gets built bigger, not much, but it gets built bigger for an extra defender and all. It just, Junior and I found out that during the endurance, sometimes it will take a defender away from your party member. So when Junior and I first got in, he could actually put down 2 defenders, and by the end of the endurance, he could only put down 1 defender. So not sure what that glitch is all about, but just take that into consideration, that if you're using defenders, your partner or players that are helping, if it's only 2 of you, the other person will get 2 defenders. If it is 3 of you or more, I think the first person that puts the defender down gets a defender, and then nobody else does, but I'm not real sure. I'd have to test that again. On this amplifier, as you know, they come through this cave, so I just put all my defenders back here and a few traps up here, so that way they would slow them down until they got to the defenders. Out here, very minimal traps, mostly just knock them back down the stairs and slow them down. So I tried to keep this minimal in here, but I wanted to make sure that I kept my defenders safe. So over here, different scenario, just basically recycled them. They rarely got up to here until the very high waves, and then Junior and I built back here where I'm at now. We built Defender Outposts. So over here on this particular wave of this amplifier, they come through here. You can see where I'm shooting my shotgun there, and there. So basically I tried to use the tires to my advantage to slow them down as they were coming up the natural stairs, and then put my defenders over here so they could be secured behind the actual wall that's the mountain itself, so that my defenders weren't constantly down. And then over on this, which was the last amplifier, the middle one I kept not completely leveled up, so it gave them an option of, we want to go straight through the middle because that's the weakest point. And then in the final wave, this was the amplifier of the final wave, we put floor traps down there. I did some floor spikes here, retractable, and then over here I built a defender station where I put a shotgunner and a assault rifle, because the smashers kept coming right through there. And then over here we ended up building some gas traps and some tires and some circle ceiling traps, so that way the last wave was pretty much a bunch of smashers, and it's the last wave, so they're trying to defeat you before you win. And then over here we put some pads, defender pads down here. They came from this way over here. I blocked off right next to the tree and around it and put some traps, and it seemed to keep them under control. So that's Plankerton's Defender Outpost build.